Hey guys, it's Andrea, and welcome to the new season of Scenes Out of Place Audio Edition. I'm so excited to dive into season 3, and this season is all about the side characters. When you've read a book or watched a TV show that featured the supernatural, there were so many other people who lost their lives in those stories. People who were just living their everyday life, trying to go to work, go home, and because of the actions of the main character, they are no longer with us. And I've always wondered, what are those stories? Who were those people? And how were their loved ones affected? So, in this season of Scenes Out of Place Audio Edition, we are diving into Willow Creek, the supernatural capital of the world. But it doesn't seem like every single member is happy. So, join us for this season as we dive into those stories of those we lost and learn a little bit more about Willow Creek along the way. I hope you do enjoy. Hi, and welcome to Willow Creek, the supernatural capital of the world. Catchy, right? The powers that be thought so when they first coined the term 10 years ago, when the supernatural first came out of the woodwork. And let me tell you, that was an experience. An experience that some loved, still talk about to this day, and some who wish they could go back to the day before the supernatural world was ever revealed to them. If you didn't know, or if you've been living under a rock, since the dawn of time, we have shared the world with vampires, witches, werewolves, faeries, and who knows what else. There's so much out there that we regular humans are just scratching the surface on. So, let's talk about it. Willow Creek isn't the only place the supernatural live, but we call ourselves, or they call us, the capital because we are the first place to realize what's really out there. And if you think about it as them just simply arriving to the powers that be and say, "Hi, I'm a vampire. I've been your next door neighbor for 200 years. Let's talk about how we can coexist." No, that is not how it happened at all. It was a dark time in our town before we knew what was going on, before the average person understood the danger we had been living through. Though, still, depending on who you ask, your next door neighbor being a vampire or a werewolf or a witch is a dream come true, an answered prayer. But it's not everyone. Let's rewind a little bit. You see, all of this centered around one person. No, that's not fair. It centered around a group, and that group centered around one person, one girl. I think you would call them the chosen one if this was a movie or a book. She was the final girl, the main girl, the girl everyone loved, and her name was Alyssa. Alyssa is the girl that no one could let die, but they sure as hell could let anyone else die for her. Ironic. Is that the definition? In a time prior to the supernatural revealing themselves, there were a lot of deaths within Willow Creek. Deaths that couldn't quite be explained. There were a lot of new visitors, dangerous visitors. There were fires that seemed to come from nowhere, storms that leveled houses, and fights breaking out all over town that just did not make sense. For years, there was this unsettling air over the town, and we never really had any answers, no matter how much you looked into it. Nothing really made sense, and there weren't any answers until the truth came out that we were not alone. Apparently, over the last 4 years prior to the supernatural coming out, that group, that revolved around Alyssa, became both the beacon of danger and the saviors of Willow Creek. But I always wondered, can you be both? Can you be the cause of the danger and then be praised for saving people from the danger? I mean, if you were the reason we were in danger, I don't have to thank you for saving me from the danger you put me in. That never made sense to me. The darkness that plagued the town for years was coming for them because they were breaking the rules. They defied the people who were in charge of the supernatural. And instead of dealing with the consequences of their actions and allowing themselves to be punished, they fought back and caused innocent people to die in the crossfire. Call me crazy, but I don't think you get to break the rules and then be upset that you got in trouble for it. Now, I bet you're wondering what were the rules and how bad could they have been if we're complying now, if we are living in harmony, quote unquote, so to speak. Well, let me tell you. Supernaturals cannot or were not allowed to be in romantic relationships with a human. Alyssa was tied to both a vampire, Desmond, and a werewolf, Jason. Supernaturals cannot reveal the supernatural world to humans. Both Desmond and Jason revealed their world and their community to her. If a human is told of the supernatural world and it is found out by the powers that be, a council assassin, I know, assassin, but a council assassin would come and eliminate the leak. And Jason and Desmond couldn't have that. They couldn't deal with the consequences to breaking the rules. So they fought the assassin. And they won, apparently. And don't get me wrong, I'm not wishing death on anyone, but they broke the rules. I'm told in that process of getting rid of the assassin, 3 people died. Jessica Lauren, Luke Garnons, and Danita Garnons. Luke and Danita were just married. Not even a month, I don't think. Jessica was just walking her dog in between her first job and her second job. And they're both dead because neither Jason nor Desmond could allow Alyssa to lose her life. But everything that I could find said that they didn't do anything to lift a finger to stop Jessica, Luke, or Danita from dying. And I don't think that's fair. I don't think it's fair that 3 people died, that they didn't really care that 3 people died so 1 girl could live. Now, again, don't get me wrong. I don't hate Alyssa. I don't wish her dead. But Alyssa signed up for this. Jessica, Luke, and Danita did not. Our town shouldn't have to pay the price because they keep breaking the rules. I mean, we weren't small enough that everyone knew everyone. But we had a good idea of who lived there and who didn't. I mean, our town wasn't perfect. People fought. There were grudges. But no one aided, so to speak, in someone else's death. But in those 4 years, it seemed like every other week someone was dying. There was a gas leak, an explosion, an evacuation, danger all the time. And it just seemed to surround that group, and that group protecting Alyssa. It's not fair. I can't tell you all the names of everyone who we lost in those dark times, but I can tell you that there's a support group that exists. We exist because it doesn't seem like anyone cares that our loved ones died. Everyone loves Jason. They love Desmond. They love Alyssa. They are so happy that they brought the supernatural into this world, that people are now able to connect. But what about the people we lost? What about the people who lost their lives because no one else thought that they mattered? No one who was the main character of the story cared. Yeah, you can feel bad that people lost their lives, but you didn't change any of your actions to save them. Jessica was my coworker. She was a friend. She was innocent. And when we talk about this town, I don't ever hear anyone mention her name for fear that it would bring down morale. It should. It should bring down morale. She only went home between her two jobs to walk her dog. And she's dead. She's dead because Jason and Desmond didn't value her life more than Alyssa's. Why did Alyssa matter more? Why did she get to live while I lost one of my best friends? It's not fair. It doesn't make sense. So when I meet with this grief support group, when I meet with them and we discuss our loved ones, it's heartbreaking and healing at the same time. To know that there's other people like me in this town who wish things could go back before the supernatural came. Not because we hate the supernatural. No. I don't blame them. Not really. They had their rules. I blame those three. We all do. We blame them because they opened a door that they didn't understand, and none of them paid the price like we did. None of them are missing family. No one in their household died. No one in their group lost anyone. No, only those people who would be considered a side character lost someone. The doctor who was trying to help someone who got hit by a car, crushed. The barista in the building that was blown up as a diversion, dead. Running from an attack only to be struck by a blade because they pushed you out of the way. So many innocent people lost their lives. And I don't feel like their stories have ever been told. So that's what this is. That's what this broadcast is. It's Willow Creek, the residents, telling the stories of those who lost their lives to the supernatural being here. Because if we're the supernatural capital of the world, then the whole truth needs to be known. Not just the pretty one, not just the one that you can put a bow on and it looks pretty on stage. But no, let's open up the closet and look at the skeletons. Let's honor the people we lost to get here. Let's say their names out loud. We can't forget those who died needlessly because of someone else's war, someone else's fight. So we're going to say their names and tell you about the real Willow Creek. The Willow Creek that, while yes, we can embrace this new world that we're in and get to know our supernatural brethren, because I won't lie, I think vampires are cool. But I can't also forget my friends who we've lost along the way. So I hope you enjoy. And as I said in the beginning, welcome to Willow Creek. Hey guys, thank you so much for listening to the latest episode of Scenes Out of Place Audio Edition. And I hope you're enjoying diving into Willow Creek. Shout out to my Patreon supporters for supporting author and above level, and a special shout out to Call Me Miss Royalty for your continued support. If you would like to support me in creating more episodes like these, feel free to follow me on my Patreon. And I hope to see you next week so we can dive more into the history and the story of Willow Creek.